We're not Village Church.
We're not. No, we are Village Church.
We're not the Village Church.
That's what it is.
That's a huge pet peeve of mine. Welcome to the Tiny Podium. My name is Zach. I'm joined by Michael Chinchilla.
Hello.
Michael, you're back again.
Yep, second time.
Why don't you text me back very often?
Well, you don't text me.
I Slack you.
Well, that's not a text.
Last time you were asked me rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
I feel like I let you down. Michael Chinchilla.
Yeah.
The story begins.
Speed round?
Speed round.
Okay, go.
I don't have questions set up for speed round.
What is this?
So this time I thought I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, perfect.
Your favorite century.
This one.
One thing that you want to change about yourself.
My lack of cardio.
The last fight that Alicia and you got into.
I think it was about holding your hand in public or something.
No, I think you told me about that one. Something that you wouldn't want to say on public camera.
I watch a lot of anime.
Do you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Well, I watch everything.
Where do you watch it?
I don't think I can say that. I feel like I'd be like perjuring myself.
So that was the answer. Do you know Jesse's wife's name?
Eliza. What? That's not how it's pronounced? How is it pronounced?
Here's a redemption question, because you feel like people say I always like trick everyone that comes on. So here's a question.
Okay.
What's something that you don't think I would want people to know publicly about me?
Our whole experience in London?
Just leave it at that. So we started fantasy football.
Yes.
We have a church league. We have 2 church leagues.
I know.
Staff leagues.
Yeah.
And last night we drafted. You drafted 2 weeks ago or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Last night we drafted in the other league.
Okay.
John Broadhead put his picture up here. It got 1-1 first pick overall.
Oh, really?
Guess who he took?
He probably took someone random.
No, he took someone top 10, but
Like
not top.
Cooper Kupp?
Took 2 Cooper Kupp overall. Put up John Broadhead, Cooper Kupp, merge them together, put my face. Because I would have taken Cooper Kupp first overall.
Yeah.
But I didn't think anyone else was crazy enough to do that.
So I had Cooper Kupp last year. He made me dominate every single league. I had him in every league that I was in, and I dominated.
Super Bowl MVP,
Yeah.
Triple Crown winner.
Unbelievable.
My favorite player.
I get into these weird modes of like, there's no way he's going to be able to redo that again. And so you got to find the next hot person.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to a Rams game in November.
Are you?
I'm going to SoFi Stadium.
That's legit. Who are
Yep.
you going with?
My wife.
Okay. Is there any way you can trade her out?
Or Jesse. He's doing good work. I'll take Jesse.
Producer Jesse does deserve that, I think.
Shylo!
Oh my gosh.
We've been waiting
Come
for
on
you.
I
in.
didn't know. Well, you actually know you weren't.
Yeah, we saw you walk. You made eye contact with me, and then you ran away.
I didn't run away.
Okay, have you heard about the Shia LaBeouf thing?
With the movie?
Yes.
I haven't actually. I was reading a little bit about this last night.
Okay.
I don't know though.
Okay. We were talking about it and all the spiciness.
I don't know the spicy. I
It's
don't
a
know.
lot of spice.
Oh.
Do you know Shia LaBeouf?
I know him, yeah.
He's-
How
Shia-
many people have said Shiloh? Like, people say Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, do you
too.
get mistaken for Shia LaBeouf sometimes?
No, not for real.
You get called Shylo LaBeouf?
Yeah.
I like the fact that his name is
Shylo LaBeouf. That's your new Instagram handle.
100%.
No.
I can't believe you haven't like ran with
Change
that.
it?
Shiloh, welcome to the pod.
Thanks. I don't know. I don't know. I
Who
mean-
are you wearing?
You crazy. It's actually Adidas.
It looks like...
Sorry, it's a Gucci Adidas collab.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Is it actually?
No, I wish. It's just Adidas.
Can you give us 8 bars? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let the king of my heart be the mountain.
Am I
where
rushing or
I
dragging?
run. Actually, pretty good.
Rushing or dragging? Rushing. So you do know the difference.
Did you hear about Shia LaBeouf?
Okay, Chinch is mentioning something. I haven't a clue. I just heard that there's drama, and I kind of like a little
Okay,
drama.
the fun thing, there's 2 pieces. Let's talk about the drama, but I want to talk about the fun thing after that.
Okay.
So give us 2 minutes about the drama.
You know the 2 people that I wanted to be like when I was a kid? Shia LaBeouf as Lewis Stevens and Jackie Chan.
Wow.
Those are my
Combo.
2. If I could be both of those people, that's who I wanted to be. I
What-
think I accomplished it.
You definitely do your own stunts.
He became a Catholic.
Okay, he became a Catholic.
Okay, but last time he did a war movie.
That's what I want to talk about.
Okay, you go for it.
Two fun things about Shia LaBeouf. First thing, there's drama with a movie. That's like, whatever. We can talk about it if we want. But then he played a priest in a movie, and then through that experience, he became a Catholic, or it's seeming that he's a Catholic. The Catholic community is on fire. But let's talk about the drama first, because Shy, we know you love your drama.
I do. Also, Bachelorette, anybody?
We're not talking about that.
Oh.
So what happened is a lot of this information is that Shia LaBeouf came on this podcast. So this Bishop Barron has a pretty big podcast, Bishop Robert Barron. And he did a whole 1.5-hour interview with him. And throughout this whole clip, he's explaining his experience about studying Catholicism, and he spent a lot of time just being with other priests and going to mass, and he shares a lot of really deep, honest experience with it.
I was never an atheist. I was always an agnostic, even when I was a Sam Harris TED Talk, Christopher Hitchens guy, which is who I was before I fell in. I always had a belief, but I never had like a connection. Latin Mass gave me something where I felt connected. Which took me out of belief into connection. Belief kept me, I had belief because that's the rational, logical. It's not logical or rational to be atheist. If you really go deep enough, you get to the Big Bang and then you're screwed again. You have to account for it somehow, which puts you in a belief situation. Right. I walked into this, my life was on fire. I was walking out of hell. It wasn't like I willingly came in here on a white horse singing show tunes. I came in here on fire, and I didn't want to be an actor anymore, and my life was a mess, complete mess, and I had hurt a lot of people, and I felt deep shame, deep guilt. I didn't like to go outside much. I really, I had a yearning not be here anymore. I was on my way out.
Is that where you were when you accepted the role of Padre Pio?
This is why when you spoke about the role, I wanted to kind of dive in there because it's kind of formative to how this all happened to me. I was willing because pain made me willing to go about this in a different way than I had previously. My opinion about God before this happened, before the pain struck, before my world had crumbled, was art, love, and God, they all mean the same thing. They're synonymous. And as an artist who creates art, I found myself in a.
So he goes on to talk about his experience and experiencing Mass and how that was, and he's learning all this for a role, and then he's now a practicing Catholic, what seemingly.
Shia LaBeouf is literally
Getting
one of the most
choked up?
confusing people in the planet.
Yeah.
I thought he already was a Christian.
So what happened is when he was in the movie Fury, he played a character, his nickname was Bible,
right,
or something like that. And what ended up happening is he's a method actor. So he actually said he's a Christian because he's studying all these Bible verses. He's a Protestant Christian during World War II. And then, as soon as the Christian media heard about this, Christianity Today, all these articles, Shia LaBeouf is a Christian, he's a Christian. After the movie comes out, he reveals, I'm not really a Christian. I was just method acting. And so none of that's true. So then this comes out. My first thought is like, is this real?
Right.
But this is a 1-hour interview. It seems legit, but I don't know his heart.
Yeah, I think you'd probably take offense. I don't think he is a method actor.
He would actually say he's not a method actor.
Because he's against the Stanislavski
viewpoint
of therapeutic acting and the whole bit.
Yeah. But
what do you think, Shylo?
I think it's pretty epic that he finally came to the end of himself. Because I think that's what we do, right? I think we just keep running around in circles and be like, it's going to be a different result. It's going to be a different result. And then you're like, no, there's got to be something else. And that's what he says. He's like, I tried something else. And then that was what really stood out to him.
What's so hard? So he says that thing that art, love, and God were all synonymous for him. Yeah. Is that a pretty difficult temptation for people to musicians that artists who want to express themselves
that have a faith or no?
That don't. That their art is the supreme thing of their life.
I honestly find that quite interesting. So I've written quite a few times with Ryan Gelderman from Mother. He's an interesting, just such a bright mind, like one of the most creative songwriters I've ever written with. But it's funny because I've invited him to church actually quite a few times over the years. And he's like, yo, he calls me Sprinkles is my nickname. And he's like, yo,
just drops it out.
Keep going.
He's like, yo, I wrote a song and the bridge just talks about church. And he says he thought about me. So I know that like, I don't know. I also think like with that thing is like Shia LaBeouf, like perhaps it's just like repetition. Like we never know what type of seed will be planted along the way. But if we're diligent to just share Christ or, I don't know, maintain a Christian lifestyle, like people will see it like a fragrant offering. So as many times I invite him to church or whatever it is, like I just trust it. Like he doesn't not notice it. Like I think he's kind of like, he's thought about his own like life and I don't know. So
one of the things he talks about in the interview is he's talking about Mass and going to the experience of it and the ritualness of it in Catholic Mass, which we don't really practice. We don't practice a lot of the things, but just the order in which you do things and the repetition and the tradition. And he's talking about how he's experienced that. At one point, he even compares it to some masses have guitars and bands now. And he's saying, this feels like they're selling you something. When I went to this Mass, and I was learning about these rhythms, he's felt a sense of peace about it. And it was like interesting to think about different liturgies. We practice that a little bit. And I know, Shylo, you're big on that. And it's great that you bring that aspect. But, how these things actually play. And he often talked about his feelings. This made me feel this way. And I think that's huge for how we actually come to know God. It's how we feel. It influences a lot of us. It was making me think about, even how different people experience our church service. What would that mean like for someone, or even just watching this or watching an online service? What is the feelings that bring up? What is the meaning of tradition? What is the meaning of liturgies and practices and sacraments? How does that relate to our spiritualness of us?
Yeah, it's like, I've been having this thought, like I've been reading a bunch of people. So it's like Robert Bella, Charles Taylor, Carl Trueman just came out with a book like The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self or something. And his whole point is that now the world has gotten to this place where like the ultimate thing is the therapeutic self. But it's not actually what's true. It's about how you interpret that truth and how it affects you. And so if it affects you negatively, then that's a sin. That's how you define sin. It's like, does it disturb the equilibrium of yourself? And so with that, everything is moving to technology. Everything's on a screen. Everything's becoming disconnected. And because the therapeutic self and this interpretation grid is so important, we're like losing what it means to be connected to things. And this is how it ties to what you were just talking about. I think the future of the church is going to be so pivotally like challenged in, do we actually experience something in the worship service? Because that is the thing that the world is lacking, an actual important experience. And so I understand when he says, I go to Mass and there's all of these tangible experiences as we go through. We're hoping that worship is going to be one of those tangible experiences. But one of the like lost opportunities I think that's going to be super important for us moving forward is actually communion. It's this tangible moment of connection and experience that you don't get anywhere else. And there's something going on. We probably wouldn't go as far as Catholics to go like, this is the actual, blood and body of Christ.
Should we?
I don't know, Shylo, what do you think?
No.
But we also don't want to go like, this is devoid of any mysticism and it's just
this is just an idea, and just think about the goodness of it. And you can do this anytime for anything.
Yeah, there's something in between there that you kind of, it lives there. And so I don't think we give it enough, kind of grandeur. We don't give it enough like importance that it actually takes within a service. But I think moving forward, Gen Alpha, that's what they're calling the new ones. Wow.
Starting from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. The Alpha crew, that's insane. Yeah. Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they're going to realize like everything is disconnecting me from what it means to be human, and it's going to challenge what I believe about that. Right. And moments in the service of the sacraments, of worship, of the experience of a preaching moment are going to be the things that really are going to draw people back into like what this truly means in having a relationship with God.
Shylo, how do you think about that stuff when you're planning a worship service? You do a lot. You think about the different songs, different liturgies that you bring in. What's your thought process in all that?
Yeah. Interesting points you guys raise. So I'm reading this book called The Reset by Jeremy Riddle. And he kind of just points out, like, church isn't about 3 to 5 songs on a Sunday morning with like the lights and the fog and the vibe and the whole thing. Like, and we have that. Like, we're blessed to have that and have a killer team and the music and the fog. We got it all. But like something I've been very much reminded of and just like pouring out to the team is like, hey, like our number one goal is to literally create a space for our people to worship their God. If we like sidetrack that like one iota, we're a clashing cymbal and we're a waste of time. Like, praise the Lord that we have the ability to use all these things. And like, that's something I always cognizant of as well, is just like, let's not go too crazy. But at the same time, we still have those avenues to use. But I do think that the core of us, we need to maintain that, because if not, I think we've missed the point.
Right. Do you think, like, in your experience, do you find that there's certain ways that kind of do that better and that you try to kind of chop off, like, when we're going here, I know we got to stop or this stuff is really good?
Well, for myself personally, I'm probably or all of us, I think that I put in a lot of work ahead of time in my own humanness to make sure that I'm like as prepared as I can be and what I'm saying and what I'm leading, just the kind of idea of what I'm going into. And then when I get there, I literally say, hey team, like literally throw everything out that we've just rehearsed, because at the end of the day, like we have to come to the end of ourselves and actually just worship God and encourage people to join in and allow us to be sensitive to where the Spirit is moving. Because that's something I'm really been excited about, is just like, just sensing what the Spirit wants us to do, like whether it's repeating something or praying something. We're offering prayer in our services as well, which I think is something that is so great. I'm just hearing so many good things come out of it. So yeah.
Michael?
Dang.
Rebuke that.
I think I just became a Christian.
Again?
Yeah.
Nice. Shylo, what's your favorite worship song?
Amazing Grace, I think.
Oh.
It's just the whole gospel.
And how's that one go again?
Yeah. You know, another reason why I love it is because it's sung at funerals for non-believers.
Right.
It is the one song where the gospel just kind of gets to go everywhere and you don't even know it.
Right. Michael, what's one worship song you hate? Shylo, give us a little update in the worship department. What's going on? What's hot? What's fresh? What are we working on? What can people be expecting?
Okay, well, I'm really excited. I feel like we're in like one of the healthiest places we've been. Praise the Lord. I think we have a lot of people that are really excited for where we're going, but also leadership and development. I just feel like people are taking like ownership themselves just to grow and learn and develop. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully new material, writing new songs that the good Lord will give to us. I think a reset. I think the biggest thing I've actually said is we're shifting culture this year. That's my biggest goal.
From what to what?
Well, the Spirit is always moved, and I'm just like, the Spirit's always there. But like, I think as a team, we're going to become hopefully more aware of the Spirit's promptings. And also just to focus in on Jesus, like we always have, but I just, I've been really encouraged. And okay, this is what I always say. The reason why I think my job is the best is when I get to look out and see people in front of me and their hearts change, like they're experiencing a relationship with their God and you see it in front of you, nothing beats it. And when you take we have little in-ears in our ears, they go click, 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 and they tell you what's going on in the song. When you take those out and you hear the room sing, like nothing beats that.
That's sweet.
Oh, and also I love that with that is like the song that we're singing, like we didn't start it. Like it began way long ago. And there are angels around the throne singing, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is time. And it does not stop, that song. So when we like jump in like time, like LOL, like we're like, oh yeah, we're worship. But it's like, yeah, you're a split second in like the vastness of that song.
This like
that is not stopped.
Song.
Yeah. And the rocks are crying out, yo, if you're not going to cry, if you're not going to worship God, the rocks have got it. Right. So it's just this cool reminder of like, it's a privilege that we get to worship. Like it's a privilege and honor.
That's a really great reminder too, even like on our own self. Obviously, like corporate worship is great. We should come together. But also we can do that whenever with whomever.
Yeah.
Are there things that you like to do, like when you just want worship by yourself, or like what are some of your go-to things?
Honestly, the Lord will wreck me in the car. Like every single time I'm driving, I'll just like cry, because like I think God is so quick to be like, humble yourself. Like what is your focus? What is your like object? What are you even doing this for? Like what are your motivations? Like I'm God. Like whoa. Like often. And I'll just like be reminded that like God does have good plans and purposes for me, and I just need to trust in that and walk in that. So I find like he just like meets me in the car quite often, and I just like pray.
You have go-to songs?
No, I don't even. There's no music.
Oh, you just worshiping just by yourself?
Like I'm just like thinking, and then all of a sudden I'll just feel like the Lord will just be Shylo.
Shy.
Yes, Lord, I'm here. Yeah. So.
Don't take your hands off steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord,
Jesus,
I'm here.
take the wheel. Right?
Don't do that. Disclaimer. I'm just thinking about people out there. Is any like resources, action steps, playlists?
Did I recommend?
Yeah. Give us.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Alex Silly from The Belonging Co. I just am so just blown away. Like outside of Village, obviously Village is amazing. This is outside of that,
No,
but
we're all one kingdom, one
true.
family.
True.
One
But
church.
I highly recommend Alex Silly from The Belonging Co. And her books, everything about her is so encouraging. I love Brooke Lagertwood. I guess her last name Taya from Hillsong. Those two women are just like
Put them up here.
the most amazing worship leaders. And just I saw Worship Central. Probably a lot of us went, but like Daryl and Brooke had a conversation, and just like, wow. Like I just like Daryl Johnson specifically. I've just never met or seen a man that's so humbled and so in love with Jesus. But just the years of relationship, I think that just is so tangible. So to see that in person, it's like, wow.
Sweet. So good. Wait, do you want people to can follow you on Spotify or something, Shylo?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I do like my own pop country stuff on there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to town in
If
every
you want to
avenue.
hear Shy sing more.
Please. Or yeah.
People have always told me
I'm
that
down.
I'm very pop country.
Zach, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Guys, thanks so much for watching this. Shylo, have you ever seen an episode of this podcast?
I've seen excerpts. I don't think I've watched the full thing, but I've definitely seen
It's
things.
fine.
Shylo, what's the funniest thing that somebody said to you after you've led worship?
After worship?
I can think of one.
You can? Oh, I don't know. I'm so in the zone. I don't even like.
One time, Kinsey Cordzan was leading worship, and it was like one of the first couple times that she's ever led. And as she was singing, I got so sweaty, and it was like the weirdest thing in the world. So she had no idea who I was. I walked up to her. I've been on staff here for a while. So I was a staff member. She was a volunteer at that point. I walked up to her into the foyer. I was like, I just want to let you know, you made me sweaty.
Oh my God.
Didn't you say that to her twice or something?
No, I said that to her once. After that, I said that to her as a joke. But the first time I was dead
It's a
serious.
running
I was
joke.
so sweaty. It
That's
became a
so
running joke.
inappropriate, dude.
I know.
Well, thanks everyone so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks.
Comment below, follow Shylo, do whatever you want.
Pop country.
Pop country.
And we'll finish the episode like
With a song.
We always do.
Oh.
And you sing your
Happy
favorite
birthday.
song.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah.
We're about to do the American
I
national
know.
anthem.
so gross.
Sorry. I love the States.
What just happened?
I've always been an American
Bleep
at heart.
that.
Why was
Bleep
that the song?
It just came to mind. It's the first thing I thought of.